Angels choose fur instead of wings. That is a quote that rings very true for our next guests who run towards destruction when tragedy strikes, while most people are running the other way. Yeah. Here with more, our pet rescue expert Larissa, along with Tim Hertzner and Rich Martin of K-9 Comfort Dogs.
Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome, Larissa.
This is amazing. These gentlemen, along with their entire ministry, bring these beautiful dogs to different locations around the country when tragedy strikes and people need them most. And that bond between animal and person is just wonderful. And thank you guys for doing what you do.
Yes, thank you.
Now, I know after Hurricane Katrina, our family fostered a dog that was abandoned down there, a beautiful Great Dane named Lady, and I know that tragedy in particular was sort of the impetus of your ministry.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
That's correct. Well, we do disaster response, and we were at Metairie, which is right on the border of New Orleans, and 2 days into it, we had medical teams down there. 2 days into it, we were asked by FEMA to do search and rescue of people and their pets, because FEMA couldn't rescue pets. And so we got flatboats and went out and started rescuing people and their pets.
Oh, my goodness.
And from that, we saw the power and the healing quality of a pet and an animal with a person that was going through a disaster. Enough to the fact that they would risk their life rather than part with their pet. So we started doing that, and it just so happened that from that, we learned that there were people that we had working with us that had golden retrievers.
Yeah.
And so we started bringing them out at the next disasters, and that kept going. And then in February of 2008, there was a shootings at Northern Illinois University, and I got a phone call from a pastor that was in lockdown with students. He says, "You still doing those dogs?" Well, at that time, we didn't have our own dogs, but I said, I can bring them in, and we did. And it was one of the most comforting things to the students. In fact, they invited us back in May of that year before they graduated. They wanted the dogs back. And that's when God hit me on the head and said, don't wait for a crisis and disaster. Use dogs in helping people in communities that go through personal crises all the time.
And it's only gotten bigger and bigger. In 2008, when you started, you only had 4 dogs.
We started with 4 dogs.
Now you're in over 25 states with over 100 dogs?
About 130.
Wow. I mean, that's a huge number. How many requests do you get a year, would you say?
We get well over 1,000 requests out of all of our affiliates. We have a link on our website for emergency site visits. So for the tragedies such as Parkland or Sandy Hook or the Boston Marathon or the hurricanes in Texas, Hugo and Irma, and then the day in, day out life happenings of kids that die from cancer, or helping kids at exam time in schools, high schools and colleges with their exams, de-stressing.
Yeah, sure.
And we work a lot with our military. We have an active K-9 military ministry where our K-9 veterans go out to VA hospitals, Yellow Ribbon events, Gold Star family events, and then we just launched a K-9 police ministry.
So you're very busy. I mean, that's over 3 visits a day around the country.
Yes.
It's incredible. I mean, obviously the requests are increasing because of the effectiveness of this. And talk to a little bit about the difference that you see in the victims when the dogs are present. Like, what is it that you see?
First of all, you got to have well-trained, relaxed comfort dogs. This is like a comfort rug with a heart.
I mean,
but they're trained to do this. They're trained to do this many times, no matter what age. They'll lay down on it. But you know, when you pet a dog, you relax. And dogs are safe because they're confidential.
Yes.
They don't take notes. They're non-judgmental, and so they're safe. I remember at Sandy Hook, there was a small boy that hadn't talked since the shootings, and we're on day 4 now. His parents brought him out, and he slowly went up to the dog, and he laid down on the dog. It didn't talk yet, but then lifted up the dog's ear and shared with the dog what took place in the classroom that he was in. First time he spoke, and it was a dog. Parents went wild. We see it in nursing homes. We see it with people that have dementia, that don't talk or don't. But then they'll pet a dog, and they'll start talking. They'll say a word or two, and they're like, I can't believe this. In all tragedies, again, a dog is soothing, and they're safe. And that helps people. If they can talk about what they have gone through, it is one of the most impactful things in order to start the healing.
And the animals really can pick up on the energy of the people too. They know so much.
That's right.
Rich was at Sandy Hook for 6 weeks. You can tell, but seeing the people over those 6 weeks must have been pretty
interesting
powerful.
too, we talk about noise distractions or noise sensitivity after events like this. And, Stoneman Douglas was the same scenario where the kids would react to a truck, a dump truck, a garbage truck, a school chair that fell in the school, sirens. And in Sandy Hook, we would often look for jobs to give the children. So one little girl, we gave the job of grooming the dog. And she would brush the dog, and then she'd take all of the hair out of the brush and she would put it in her pocket. And when she had an anxious moment during school, she would reach in her pocket, and the comfort dog was there.
Oh.
The number one thing we hear time and time again from parents and children are alike, the dogs are the number one reason my child went back to school.
What you guys are doing, gentlemen, is so amazing. It's really commendable. Thank you so much. If more people could be like you and could think that way, I mean, if we could just get a little bit of their feeling and be like this, you know what I mean?
You know, we have a lot to learn from dogs.
Yes, we really do. And I know, Larissa, something else that the ministry does that really caught your attention.
Well, not only do they bring these stuffed animals that get to go home with all the kids as well, which obviously is so wonderful at night, but they also, every dog has a Facebook account and a business card. And when I was talking to Tim, he goes, it's not to be cute, because I kind of laughed.
Yeah, it's adorable.
He said it's not to be cute. It's so that anybody who's interacted with a dog and it's helped them, they can go home with that business card, and on the backside they get to email or Facebook the dog and keep that communication going. You know, it's maybe one of their only ways to vent what they're feeling, and it just makes a world of difference.
You know, the hair story is what inspired us to do these.
Do the little dog.
Because they have something to take home.
Yeah.
Obviously, the dogs be bald if we had to take hair off of them all. So we got these to hand out to all the students. And ever since that, in any crisis or disaster, these get handed out to victims that they can just kind of take home, and then they name them. Sandy Hook named their dogs, and they made little business cards for their own dogs.
That's adorable.
It was just...
well, I'll tell you what, some angels have fur, but Tim and Rich, I'm pretty sure your wings are underneath your jackets. I'm going to go with that. Thank you
the
so
emotion
much.
coming out of you guys while you're talking about it still. So.
Thank you for bringing us this story, Larissa. That was wonderful.
Of course, thank you.
And if you all at home would like more information on Lutheran Church charities, their K-9 Comfort Dog Ministry, or how to find out how you can help, all you have to do is go to the website below.
And up next, I am showing you a fun way to repurpose your skis into a family photo frame.
Is it
Check that out. No, it's not a skis dog.